Hello, everybody. Hobbs Q back. So this is a video you're about to see is going to be a story from James, MTG Critical, talking about the impact of suicide on him, the suicide of a friend. And the story, I think, came out very well in the sense of giving us an idea of how other people come into our lives and have such a big impact on us than I think may not even know. And I think this is the hard part for people that are, in some ways they say survivors of suicide, the people that are there and left behind. So I just want to thank James for putting this out. And here's his story.
Hi, my name is James, but you might know me as MTG Critical online. And today I wanted to talk about Devin. Devin was one of my best friends in high school. I met him my junior year, and we hit it off pretty quick with our love of music and video games at the time. We quickly became best friends. Some fond memories I have of Devin are him introducing me to bands like Pendulum, driving 4 hours in his rickety silver pickup truck just to eat White Castle, giving ourselves food poisoning from said White Castle, and all in all, just spending countless sleepless nights chatting and just enjoying each other's company and talking about what we wanted to do after high school. He had dreams of being a music producer at the time. Pendulum, The Prodigy. He looked up to these bands, and he introduced me to a lot of the music that I love and cherish today. In 2016, I got a phone call from my friend John, another high school friend of mine, that Devin had passed away. Well, it turns out that even back in high school, he struggled a lot with depression. And that can look like a lot of different things to a lot of different people. And to Devin, it sometimes meant that you might just not hear from him for a day or two. Sometimes he'll just turn his phone off and go AWOL. But he was always happy when you were around him, and that's the important thing to focus on here, is that depression looks different to everybody. And to me, as another teenager, I saw it as someone who was dealing with the same angst and emotional distress that I was as a teenager. But as he got older, he grew more distant from people. It became harder and harder to get a hold of him, and a lot of his dreams ended up falling apart, and that hit him hard. One thing I remember in 2014, 2015, I remember meeting up with him and just talking about how he was doing, and he told me things were going really well, and that even though his plans for college kind of fell through, he was working and, he was staying with his parents, and he seemed like he was genuinely turning around and having a good life, and he had that positive air of excitement about him that I remember so fondly from high school. When I found out that he had taken his life, it hit me incredibly hard. Nothing really prepares you for losing a loved one, but least of all, a loved one that leaves you so suddenly and by their own hand. I learned a lot from my relationship with him and my life since, which is just to cherish the people I have around me and do as much as I can to check in with people I love and really check in. I'll leave this with a poem I wrote about Devin back in 2019 on the anniversary of his death. I had another friend who was struggling with depression, and I wrote this piece. Tonight I saw you once again, this time in the eyes of someone broken. Tonight I heard your voice again, through the tepid lips of a human lost. In those eyes devoid of joy, floating above the feigning smile, I saw you staring at me, calling to me, begging me for help. Hopefully this time I can.